Are you excited the NBA is officially back? Because I am absolutely pumped. So if you're like me and is elated that the NBA is back, as we saw some games happen yesterday, type me in the comment section. We have a lot to get to in today's show. The NBA rumors mill never stops, and the latest update on James Harden we'll get to. Is Embiid going to be going to the Big Apple to play for the Knicks? And then we close out the show with Donovan Mitchell. Is he leaving the Cavs for sure after this NBA season? We'll talk about all these topics on today's show. But let's dive into the first one. It is James Harden, because Shams Charania reported today that after 10 days away, James Harden has officially reported back to the Philadelphia 76ers practice, sources tell The Athletic. Well, here's the thing, though. He's still not going to play in the first game against the Milwaukee Bucks on Thursday evening. Shams followed up an hour later with the fact that his bags were packed to join the team on the road for the Thursday game and Saturday game on a little two-game road trip to start off the year for Philadelphia. But the 76ers have asked him not to travel with the team, an intriguing situation in the city of brotherly love. And when you think about it, he requested a trade this offseason. He doesn't want to be in Philly. So is Philadelphia just showing back that same energy? Or are they just telling the James Harden, the Beard, that, hey, we don't feel that you're in the right game shape right now. So work your way, have a week to get back into the correct game shape, and then you'll be ready to go next week for the 76ers. It's an intriguing situation because who knows if it's about him getting in the right game shape for Philly, or if it's just like, hey, we don't want you to be with the team because we think you're going to be a distraction, cause us to play poorly, and we still want to trade you. Speaking of those trade destinations, I think there's only two teams left in the mix for the Beard, but I really only think it's one, and it's the Los Angeles Clippers. They are the team that have pursued James Harden the most and seem to be the most motivated to get a deal done, even though they do not want to give up a Terrence Mann alongside a couple first-round picks. But I think the Heat, the second team mentioned there, could jump into the mix if they come out of the gates slow. The Heat have the worst point guard rotation in the entire NBA, and that is no joke. Their point guard rotation is Kyle Lowry, 37-year-old Lowry, who has not been himself since joining the Heat after the Toronto Raptors sign-in trade. They have Drew Smith, who is a horrific basketball player, as their third-string point guard. And they have Josh Richardson, who has played a little bit of point guard in his career, but not a lot, as their number two. So if the Heat come out of the gate slowly, they're struggling, and they look at their roster and say, damn, we need a point guard, someone to facilitate this offense that we know can help elevate Tyler Hero, James Harden, and Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, Maybe they go in for James Harden. But if the Heat come out average or just above average at the beginning of the year, I think it is still the Clippers that are going to end up trading for James Harden. But who knows? Maybe he does end up staying in Philly for the year. I don't think Sixers fans want that. I don't think James Harden wants that. I don't think the Sixers front office wants that, so I still think he gets traded to the Clippers. But let me know what you guys think. It's a guessing game. Where will James Harden get traded? Type LAC for the Clippers. Type MIA for the Miami Heat. Let's move on to another 76er, and that is Joel Embiid. Could this James Harden situation push Embiid, the MVP of last season, out the door and possibly to the New York Knicks? Well, Chris Broussard, NBA analyst and quote-unquote insider, had this quote that I found very fascinating. There is scuttlebutt. What a word choice there by Broussard. Around the league that Joel Embiid wants to join the Knicks. And the rumors did not stop there because Keith Pompey, a.k.a. Pompey on Sixers, who is a Sixers beat reporter with over 80,000 followers on Twitter, so he might be reliable, reported that the Knicks would be willing to send this blockbuster trade package for the MVP center. Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Evan Fournier, and 2 to 3 first-round picks in exchange for Joel Embiid. And boy, that is quite a lot, but hey, when you think about Joel Embiid's price point, would it be that much? I mean, he's battled injuries his entire career. Yes, he's been a top 3 MVP candidate over the past 3 seasons, but he has never made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. He has battled injuries his entire career, and there's ideas of him no-showing in the postseason as well. Would it be worth the Knicks sending all of this, gutting their roster to get Joel Embiid? I'll discuss more on that in a second, but I have to show some love to our sponsor on today's show, and that is Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for first deposit match up to $100. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you just pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can watch the winnings roll in if you got skills like mine. As you see on your screen, I went with a 4-pick power play that I could win 10 times my money if I go 4 for 4 on tonight's slate. I'm staying with basically 2 games. I'm taking the 20% off that Prize Picks is giving you on Victor Wembanyama's points, rebound, assist total. He's getting more than 20 total. Tyler Hero, more than 20.5 points. Cade Cunningham, more than 19.5 points. And more than Jimmy Butler, 5 rebounds. So I'm really staying in that Heat-Pistons matchup. And then Victor Wembanyama's NBA debut against the Mavericks. But another positive, they allow quick withdrawals and have easy gameplay with enormous selection of players and stat types, which make playing DFS so much fun. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for first deposit match up to $100. One more time, prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS for first deposit match up to $100. Back to Joel Embiid and the Knicks. Is this trade worth it? From New York's point of view, the Knicks roster would absolutely be gutted outside of Jalen Brunson and Joel Embiid. Could that team win an NBA title? Jalen Brunson had his breakout season in his first year in the Big Apple with the Knicks, leading them to the second round of the postseason before just coming up short against the Miami Heat. Embiid and the Sixers came up just short against the Celtics in that second round as well. And when you look at what the duo would be, Jalen Brunson has just improved his game every year since he's been in the association. And last year, being the main guy for the Knicks, 24 points per game, 6 assists. But the thing that stands out to me about Jalen Brunson is his efficiency. 49% from the field and 41.6% from beyond the arc. Those are elite numbers, and when you think about elite numbers, you can't say elite without Joel Embiid. 33 points per game, 10 rebounds, 54.8% from the field. Lacks three-point shooting, and it's unfortunate because he likes to shoot a lot of threes. But this duo would be one of the best duos in the NBA. My biggest question is, who would be their third best player if they make this deal? Are they keeping Emmanuel Quickley? Is that their third best player? Is it Josh Hart? You'd really have to think about what that roster would be outside of Embiid and Brunson if that reported trade was the final trade package. But I want to ask you, check in. Would Brunson-Embiid duo win an NBA title for the New York Knicks? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know in the comment section. Last story on today's show is the Spider, Donovan Mitchell. Is he leaving the land? And when you think about potential Donovan Mitchell fits of teams that he'd want to leave, the New York Knicks, the Miami Heat, 2 teams already mentioned with James Harden, Joel Embiid, I think those are the 2 teams that would be in on Donovan Mitchell. And where does this start? Well, Bill Simmons, another NBA insider, said this on his podcast, that Donovan Mitchell eventually leaving the Cavaliers is the worst kept secret in the NBA. And this is not surprising one bit. And when you think about last season, you go to last offseason when he was traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. The 2 teams that were heavily named in pursuit of the Spider, the Knicks and the Heat. Those 2 teams would be waiting in line again if Donovan Mitchell does request a trade from Cleveland. All reports indicate from Windhorst, Simmons, that D-Mitch does want to end up leaving Cleveland. He never wanted to play in the land. I think he wants to play either in the New York with the Knicks because he's a Mets fan, he loves the city, or he wants to play with his best friend in the NBA, Bam Adebayo. So the Knicks and Heat, I think they would be battling out for D-Mitch next offseason if Mitchell requests a trade once again, unless maybe Embiid is a Knick. Then that takes out the Knicks for Joel Embiid and will leave just the Heat. But hey, the Heat can't get a trade done when there's only one superstar that wants to come to them anyway. Shout out Damian Lillard. But I tell you what, if the NBA trade rumors start to heat up again, Donovan Mitchell does request a trade, we'll have you covered here at Chat Sports. So hit that sub button. We're bringing you NBA content all NBA season long. We'll be here for the trade deadline. We'll be here for next NBA draft and next NBA offseason. So hit that sub button and stay locked in here at Chat Sports.